Folks, there is no doubt about it. The planet is warming up. However, if one has access to all the information, one could objectively reason that climate extremes is a more appropriate moniker than global warming. The examples are so numerous, and it's not just temperatures, but severe weather, flooding, drought. And amidst trend and propaganda, there remains a significant possibility that a solar shutdown could swing us into an ice age within a few years. I was initially drawn to this topic while investigating Earth changes for which humans deserve no blame. Earth's upper atmosphere is shrinking, more so than for which NASA can account. And if you find some of the many other outlet articles that picked up the story, you're likely to find that scientists were expecting some collapse at solar minimum due to a lack of flares that expand the atmosphere, but they weren't expecting this much. So close to the answer. Lack of flaring collapses the atmosphere. Well, as solar maximum ended in the early 2000s, our solar minimum began normally only to encounter turbulence in 2007, when the coronal holes left their normal polar positions. The solar minimum then embraced her name and dove for the floor, setting low records, and by the time solar maximum should have gotten started, we had gone lower. And as the sunspots slowly began to return, they failed to really get a grip on the sun until March 2011. But look above at how high we had gone the last solar maximum, again in the early 2000s. The red line here is very, very low expert predictions for this current maximum, and actual accounts have been even lower. Veteran observers know there is icing on this cake, as the sunspots have not been flaring based on their magnetic potential, but instead decaying when facing the Earth for well over a year now. In 2009, scientists began reacting to the significant solar minimum by offering the topic of a mini ice age up for debate, even if they poo-pooed the idea for the most part. Fast forward through the pathetic solar maximum we've seen so far, many more scientists are now beginning to discuss how the sun could affect our climate. Looking back to the great Maunder Minimum, we see that part of the time frame of Earth's last mini ice age fits this significant time period. NASA and others have now reinforced the concern about a significant solar shutdown. This book, written by the scientists for whom that great Maunder Minimum was named, seems to indicate that our observations of Earth-facing sunspot decay are not a new phenomenon. In fact, they had a pretty good correlation to a past solar shutdown. And now, we have this, out of Akron and Duke University. We've waited for a report on the outer planetary effect on the sun, and this one suggests multiple secular variations and predicts a prolonged solar minimum centered around 2030. In other words, it would need to start soon. But then again, it already has, hasn't it? There's not a heliophysicist on the planet who doesn't know that the sun's magnetic field is weakening, and prominent scientists at the NSO have predicted that our next cycle may see a sun unable to produce sunspots. For hundreds of thousands of years, the CO2 correlation to temperature has been astounding, but in recent years, we see the planet isn't warming as fast as we're polluting. Our guesses on longer timelines suggest the correlation is weaker than it appears, and recently, the atmospheric CO2 is pushing 400 parts per million with only slight changes in temperature. This video is a tangent from my video Energy from Space, which details a larger picture and includes the other half of this coin. Never forget that humans have survived this in the past, and could all go back to normal at any time. But I'd also consider setting aside some time for long-term planning. Be safe, everyone.